In the land of Egypt centuries ago, a mighty kingdom rose upon the banks of the Nile. Its monuments touched the skies, its armies conquered lands, and its pharaohs called themselves gods. Yet within the shadows of Egypt's greatness, there dwelt a people burdened with chains, the children of Israel. They were strangers in a foreign land, once welcomed, now enslaved. With every stone they lifted, with every lash they bore, their cries rose to heaven. But Egypt grew fearful, for though the Hebrews were broken in spirit, they were many in number. And so a decree was spoken by Pharaoh. Every son born to the Hebrews shall be cast into the river. Only the daughters may live. Fear swept through every home. Mothers wept at the thought of losing their sons. Fathers trembled, powerless to protect their families. And in the midst of this darkness, a child was born. In a humble dwelling, hidden from watchful eyes, a woman named Jochebed brought forth her son. His first cry pierced the night, a cry of life in a land of death. She looked upon him, and her heart knew this child was special. For 3 months, she hid him. Each day was a battle against discovery. Soldiers searched the streets, neighbors feared to speak. Yet Jochebed, with her daughter Miriam and her husband Amram, guarded the boy with courage. But the child grew, and his cries grew stronger. It could not be hidden any longer. Jochebed's heart ached with an impossible choice, to keep him and risk his death, or to let him go and entrust him to God. Slower, heavy with emotion. And so, with trembling hands, she took reeds from the riverbank. She wove them tightly into a small basket, sealing its cracks with pitch and tar. It was no ordinary basket. It was an ark, a vessel of hope. She laid her child within it, tears falling upon his face. She pressed her lips to his forehead one last time and whispered a prayer only God could hear. Then, carrying the basket to the Nile, she placed it upon the waters and released her son to the current. The Nile carried the little ark gently between the reeds. His sister Miriam, filled with both fear and courage, followed at a distance. She hid among the grasses, eyes fixed on the basket, heart pounding with every ripple of the river. The sun rose higher, and the river glistened like gold. Life along its banks bustled, fishermen casting nets, women washing clothes, children laughing at the water's edge, all unaware of the fragile miracle drifting past them. And then destiny drew near. From the palace of Pharaoh came his daughter, a princess of Egypt. She stepped down to the river to bathe, her maidservants attending her. Her eyes caught sight of something unusual caught among the reeds. She ordered it to be brought to her. The basket was opened, and there, wrapped in cloth, lay the weeping child. The princess looked upon him, and her heart was moved. "This is one of the Hebrews' children," she whispered. She knew the command of her father. She knew this boy's life was forbidden, yet compassion welled up within her. She could not turn away. At that moment, Miriam, the child's sister, stepped forward from her hiding place. Her small voice broke the silence. "Shall I go and call a Hebrew woman to nurse the child for you?" The princess looked upon the girl, her eyes thoughtful, and she said, "Yes, go." So Miriam ran swiftly, her feet barely touching the ground, until she returned with Jochebed, the child's own mother. By the hand of Providence, the mother who released her son to the waters was called to hold him once more. And the princess spoke to her, saying, "Take this child, nurse him for me, and I will give you wages." What greater reward could there be? Jochebed took her son again into her arms, but this time under the protection of Pharaoh's own daughter. She rocked him close, her heart overflowing with gratitude and wonder. The child who was meant for death now lived. The river that was meant to take his life had carried him to his destiny. And so the boy grew. In time, he was brought into the house of Pharaoh, raised as the son of the princess. She gave him a name, Moses, drawn out of the water. Little did she know that the child she saved would one day be the one to save a nation, that the river which once carried him to life would be but the beginning of greater waters parted before him. This was the hand of God at work, unseen yet mighty. In the midst of oppression, he preserved a deliverer. Through the faith of a mother, the courage of a sister, and the compassion of a princess, the story of freedom began. Thus was born Moses, the child who should have died, yet lived. The child hidden in a basket, yet destined for greatness. From the waters of the Nile, God raised a servant who would stand before Pharaoh, divide the sea, and lead his people out of bondage. This is the story of deliverance. This is the story of hope. This is the story of Moses.